We are getting some version of Epstein list. There will be names redacted. They've made that clear.
But why are names redacted?
Because it's people like Jimmy Kimmel and Oprah. You know, these people want their names redacted. It must be so bad who these names are.
Because we already know it's Bill Gates, Trump, and Clinton. Well, that's fact.
Yeah.
That's already been like discovered.
Yeah, there's pictures.
That's what I don't get.
There's a woman that wants to be redacted.
A woman that was on the island?
Jane Doe 107.
Because these are the flight logs.
Yes.
That's what's being released,
Yes.
the flight logs.
So there's a woman that's actively, she's the one that's holding up this list. That's what everyone keeps reporting. So who could this woman be?
Cash.
Ladies and gentlemen, group chat.
Cash.
It's $1 trillion. Hot.
Happy New Year, Kathys. We are back. It is 2024.
Which is wild.
Yeah, it feels like it's pretty far out.
You know, we're obviously old now. When you thought about 2024, when we were like 10 years old, you're like, that's like the Jetsons. That's the future.
I'm trying to think of what are the futuristic things that I'm like, whoa, it's here. I would say,
AI.
What
it
AI?
just happened in like
what?
18 months.
What does it do? What
do
does
you mean?
AI do? It writes you songs?
It simplifies data.
I have to wait. Talking about songs?
No, I think AI
hasn't done anything yet. The
I
future, the
disagree.
possibility, what it does. What are you using AI today for?
You can simplify data sets very quickly.
Okay, so
something that would take a week to do can be done in 20
what
minutes.
do you use it for your life?
No,
today?
companies can use it.
But that's not
AI's
future.
already been used in Google, Facebook, Instagram. We just don't know that that's what's going on.
I know, but
behind
I'm
the
talking
scenes.
about like that's stupid. That's not.
That's why these apps and products are so productive.
But like, no,
It's
we're
because
talking about
AI's
flying cars, cool shit. Oh, the large
YouTube
data
is
sets.
AI.
Who gives a shit about large data
YouTube
sets?
is AI.
What?
YouTube is all AI.
Okay, the people creating the content ain't AI.
Yeah, but how do you get the content to what the
That's
user
not
wants
when
to
I
see?
thought about 2024. I was not thinking about large data sets. That's the last large thing
Yeah.
I was thinking about.
You need a larger mind.
No, that's nonsense. We haven't accomplished anything. That's what the reality is.
That's
the
wrong.
number one accomplishment, I would say, in our lifetime, since I was born to now, is Ozempic.
An anti-diabetes drug.
Yes. That's the most astonishing thing. That you could be fat one day and skinny the next.
I think
I would say Ozempic, iPhone. Okay. I think iPhone as a device has been more.
You could argue that. I mean, there's a lot of things that.
No, but I'm
people
saying
just
my list. They don't give a fuck what everyone else thinks. I'm saying Ozempic, iPhone. I think Tesla is the car itself is like pretty fascinating.
AWS made anyone able to start a startup.
So there's 50 cloud providers already.
No, but they were the first ones.
But that to me is like
cloud-based computing made it.
You like all the
Capital
dork shit.
efficiency.
I'm talking cool shit. iPhone? Do you know what the iPhone has done? We live
Yeah,
on this
of course,
thing.
the iPhone has done a lot, but if you didn't have cheaper ability to build companies, then
Yeah.
no companies would be built.
Apple would have been built.
You got to think bigger.
No. What are you talking? Apple's the biggest company in the world.
It is, but
Not
they were
Amazon.
able-
Amazon's
the
not
apps
even half the size of Apple.
The apps that are on the Apple store are because the cost of creating companies has gone down because of all the technology.
Not just because of AWS, for a lot of reasons.
Yeah, Shopify.
Yeah, but
Anyone
I'm just
can
saying
start a site.
that
Anyone
when I
can be
think
an
about
entrepreneur.
when I'm thinking about, okay, in 1985, you were dreaming of fucking AWS?
No,
I was dreaming about flying cars and cool shit.
There's so many different opportunities to be a professional. You could just start a site. You could import goods from China and start selling them. And you don't need $10 million of capital to do it.
Yeah,
Anyone
but
could do that.
Yeah, it's not futuristic enough for me. I would say that like the reason why there's similar things like the gold rush, whoever just went out west had a shot. You know, similar to whoever, bought land.
I mean, think about how many young people you've met that are entrepreneurs that.
But that was happened to every generation. You could find different experiences where people have found a way to make money. That's very different. I'm talking about what are like things that we've seen where you're thinking and when we were a kid, when we saw the future, it was space, it was flying cars, it was consumer products at the end of the day is how we will truly embrace. Like if we were getting served, like for example, the hotel across the street for room service is served by a robot. That's cool shit. That's like, whoa, that's awesome.
I know we take it for granted now. Uber and Postmates and DoorDash is cool shit.
Postmates is, I mean, delivery. Uber, I would give way more credit to than Postmates and DoorDash because we were able to deliver food to people. That the process of delivering food has not changed. It's easier to actually
you can
order
just do it on your phone. You click 2 buttons.
Yeah, before you call Domino's and you get your fucking food.
And you're waiting. But like Uber definitely is transformational.
Okay, so I'll give you Uber is good.
Airbnb.
You could still go and stay at people's houses. We were booking houses.
Stay at random.
I was doing that for Coachella without Airbnb.
Yeah,
Pre-Airbnb, I was booking houses.
You can do it at scale.
I'm not worried about scale. I'm worried about myself. This is purely selfish. I'm not worried about what everyone else is doing.
Okay.
I'm worried about how I experience technology. I'm looking for futuristic shit. Like the impact Ozempic has had on so many friends, unbelievable.
Travis Scott just dropped a line about Ozempic in his newest song with Playboy Cardi.
No way.
Yep.
So I will say Ozempic, when we started talking probably a year ago about Ozempic, when it started coming on our radar that all these rich guys are doing it.
Yeah.
It's now gone to like middle class.
Oh yeah, it's everyone.
It's not just a rich guy thing.
No.
Anyone can get prescribed it.
If you have diabetes or if you're obese, insurance covers it.
Yeah, it's way less burden on the system.
Yeah.
For you to be skinnier.
Yeah. I mean, and to be fair, like I did get a DM from a Kathy whose friend took it and got some serious health ramifications. The doctor believes it's because of Ozempic.
What were the ramifications?
I think he had a heart attack.
From Ozempic?
Yeah. Like,
because I thought it was like thyroid issues.
I think
we don't know yet.
Yeah.
Because obviously the only people that have been taking this drug are people with diabetes, and diabetes is way more serious than...
Yeah, look, I think there's risk with every drug. If you don't believe every drug has risk, then you're like not intellectually honest.
No, of course. And I think it's going to take 3 to 5 years to understand what the impact Ozempic has.
Yeah.
And right now, everyone's getting skinny. And it's really funny, especially the famous people that have gotten really skinny. And there's like Ozempic face.
Fat Joe.
Fat Joe's very skinny.
Is he just Joe?
Yeah, he's just Joe now.
Yeah. That's a bad name.
He was pre-diabetic too. So I guess he's an appropriate customer of the... Because I remember during COVID, he was on one of those Instagram lives saying he was scared because he had one of those comorbidities.
Why isn't Khaled doing it?
Khaled should definitely be doing it.
I actually think it's bad for business if Khaled one day walked out skinny.
You think so? You think the shtick ends?
He should stay fat.
Might not be good for him.
It may not be good for him if he gets skinny financially.
Yeah.
It's not as interesting. He might lose that boom in his voice.
Yeah. I mean, Ozempic definitely, I think in 2024 is just going to be.
Yeah, wait, we're going to do a prediction show on Sunday. So stay tuned for that. But, you know, New Year's is such an incredible time where a lot of people like to hit the reset button and start fresh and start with, you know, a lot of people obviously on the workout tip, you know, people start with dry January, people hit the gym, people set goals. One of the things that I've actually found have been helpful for me, like this first couple days of January, I've started in my notes writing things that like I kind of want to accomplish in the year. And it's just a great way to just put it on. When you write something down, it just feels a little bit more real. So I typically like to put down, call it 6 to 10 things that I'm looking as far as goals for the year. Some are personal, some are professional. And this way, at least I know that like, okay, I'm going to hold myself accountable for these things throughout the year. So I think that is one kind of set of things that I think is an incredible time to do at the beginning of every year. The other is like, I think 2023 is, you know, similar to like, I think 22 was typically a good year for a lot of people because the economy was ripping. Things were still pretty good. I think 23, from just hearing from a lot of people, was a challenging year for a lot of people. And
Well, I guess it depends what your industry is.
yeah,
Because in 22, that was an industry that I'm very involved with this tech,
yeah.
was a terrible year.
Public equities.
And privates.
Yeah.
Privates
It's
were
probably
terrible.
when the reckoning started.
That's when
But I think the real economy in
real
22
economy's-
was fine.
the real economy was fine. And yeah, I guess the last 2 years, everyone got impacted in a negative way, regardless of what industry you were
Yes. Yeah. Between either 22 or 23. I mean, I think 23 was really like, I think inflation was so impactful for so many people, whether it was at the pump, at the grocery store, going out to eat, travel, everyone saw the impact of inflation. And, you know, some people got pay raises. I think there's like this internal, like, you know, conflict between companies, remote work, and, you know, expectations. So I think there's a lot of things.
And 23, global conflict went berserk.
Berserk, yeah. Between Ukraine and what happened in Israel, like, it was just all over the world became a very tense place. And I think all in all, I would say 23 was a tough year for most folks. I think, you know, financially, I'm sure some people did fine. And people, if you had public equities, you did fine. You made a lot of money.
Yeah.
So I think that part was super fascinating. I think the other piece to really note is that in 24, you're entering a year, like every year, and I would say even more so now, the level of uncertainty is even higher.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's global conflict, whether it's inflation, whether it's interest rates, whether it's the real economy, there's so many moving pieces onto what really will happen in 24. And no one has a crystal ball and no one can predict. But I do believe you can prepare. And I think that's really what, you know, specifically as I got older, I started thinking more about preparation. Whereas in previous, when I was in my 20s and shit, even in my 30s, I didn't prepare for anything. And I think now I have a very keen interest in preparing because just of the responsibilities you have as a parent.
Yeah, I think it's pretty fascinating because we've obviously been professionals for over 20 years now at this point, or about 20 years. And I can't think of post-financial crisis, so post-2008, 2009, to basically the pandemic, so a good 10 years, where you actually cared about macroeconomic factors. You just got a job, you built a business, you figured out if people wanted to buy your product, and if your product was appealing, you make money. If it wasn't, you didn't make money. And there was no like outside factors for a good 10 years. I would say 2009 to 19 or 20, March of 2020.
There was a lot of terrible things that happened in that time.
Sure, but I'm saying as just like a business person.
Yeah.
It really didn't affect businesses.
No.
Like you either were...
You're talking after a financial crisis.
After financial crisis.
Yeah.
I'm saying after 2009.
Yeah.
If you were in real estate, tech, a merchant, a manufacturer, it was basically like, can you provide the service that was in demand?
Yeah.
And if you were able to do that,
You made money.
you made money.
Yeah.
And if you weren't able to do that, you didn't make money. But it didn't matter about Ukraine, Russia,
Yeah.
the Red Sea, which we'll talk about later. It didn't, like those factors, we had like this 10-year golden period
Yeah.
where you just were like, hey, can I be good at business or am I not good at business?
Yeah. And the other thing I think about it is that there were macro things that were happening in those times. I think now, and it's really TikTok and some
Social
of it's
media,
Twitter.
yeah.
Like the echo chamber of like bad shit gets dumped on way faster now, where like something may happen somewhere and it's kind of isolated to that part of the world. But now, like, think about it. Every global conflict is like an American fucking hot topic every day.
Yeah.
Right? Like what's happening all over the world is affecting American
Like
thought.
think about even Snowden, which happened, it had no effect on anyone's business.
Yeah, don't give a shit.
If Snowden happened today,
Yeah.
people would freak out.
Snowden happened today, it'd be similar to Epstein.
Yeah.
that level of obsession, right?
Like, what's the government doing to us?
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, it's all fascinating. I think, we'll talk about more about our predictions for 24, but, really, I think I would hit reset if you had a bad year, going with a positive attitude. We were just talking about how fast years go. Like, you blink of an eye, it's a new year.
Mm-hmm.
And what's crazy is in the moment, I always say like days are always very long and years go fast. And I think 2024, we're sitting here January, whatever, 3rd, 4th, whatever today is, we're doing this episode. Next thing you know, it's summer. And next thing you know, it's Halloween, and then it's the Christmas episode. And it's like, fuck, another year just went by.
Yeah.
It's pretty fascinating.
And it definitely goes faster as you get older.
Yeah. You just don't even realize, like, boom.
Because you're just busy.
Yeah.
With just life.
Life gets busy and you just move on. So all I can say is enjoy the ride. I think a lot of people forget. And it's funny because I've preached this amongst all the young people I'm around and some of the people in my office. Someone made a comment that like, I need some of that chaotic energy in 24.
What does that mean?
Basically like spontaneity, going and just doing whatever you want. Don't overthink it. A lot of people, like really smart young people, are planning for everything. If you went on social media, and for specifically, I only get served male content, so I don't know what it's like for females, but male content is, you got to cold plunge in the morning. You got to read 60 books. You got to fucking meditate. You got to work. You got to jerk off once a month. You got to do like 100 things. You have to do so many things. And then you are a successful person. Let me tell you something. I didn't do any of that shit. I woke up hungover, worked all day, tried to fucking work out once in a while, took a nap and partied all night, right? Like, yeah, that's just what you did. And like, by the way, like, it's funny is that like people want to always reference what successful people do. And I don't know what successful people mean to a 25-year-old person today. Is a successful person David Goggins, or is a successful person Mark Zuckerberg? 'Cause let me tell you, Mark Zuckerberg didn't cold plunge, didn't do jack shit but work.
He's cold plunging now, but he became a billionaire.
But a bunch of people are giving a lot of young people advice on what they do now.
Yeah.
Not what they did when they were 24 years old.
I think it's pretty dangerous the way, success, like Ray Dalio.
Yeah.
He talks about his principles and this and that. And you can have a view that like, hey, that's good. But what got Ray Dalio to where he is today as like this super rich dude?
Yeah.
He just fucking did shit.
Yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing. A lot of these self-help books are really detrimental to young people, is that you think you have to plan everything.
Yeah.
No, you have to try everything and see what works.
Yeah.
Like think about, I'm working on 3 different things that if you told me 2 years ago that I'd be doing, there's no chance I'd be doing that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just like,
you just have to put your head down.
Whatever the opportunity is, you just go and see if it works. Yeah. If it doesn't work, have the humility. You failed. Yeah. It's all good.
And move on.
Move on to the next one.
Yeah. I think just the concept of just put your head down and work is the most important principle. And then I think, look, people are optimizing for so many things. You can't optimize for 50 things. You have to focus, and you have to like, and I think like even the way people plan their fun, it's like,
what do you mean plan fun?
Like, like the way they think about like living life, right? Whereas like they overthink planning even like a trip, or just do shit. Do whatever. Like you have to overthink it. Yeah. If you get too much anxiety. This is when you get stuck. You can't order at the restaurant because you've been planning to go out for 3 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, I have very close friends that have been successful and they're trying to look for their new gig and they want it to be the perfect gig.
Yeah. And they'll never find it.
You'll never find it.
No.
You just have to go do it for a year. If it sucks, move on.
Move on. Yeah. All right. So try shit. That's our
try shit. That's the title of the episode.
Yeah. I think that's a good way to I think it's for everything, personal and professional, that you just have to try things and then you'll find your path. But I think
we always talked about this, obviously privately and even on the podcast, like we didn't say no to trips, especially pre-kids and wives. If someone said, hey, I'm going to X.
Yeah, you just
like, all right, cool.
I mean, I didn't even forget trips. I wouldn't even say no to like a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
What are we doing Wednesday? I'm going to see some shitty band. I'm like, all right, I'll come. You know how many shitty bands I went and saw?
I have too.
And I think that is like, that's because like what people don't realize is when you're like near the end of your life, the only thing you have are your memories.
Yeah, your experiences.
And if you don't have any because you were cold plunging and reading fucking books.
Or like you're like, I'm going to optimize for, now that sleep is the biggest thing in the world, right? Everyone's like, you got to sleep 10 hours a day or whatever.
Let me tell you something. You do not need to sleep unless you have kids. You shouldn't sleep. And even with kids, why do you need to sleep?
Yeah, if you're without kids, the best advice I would have even if you're in a serious relationship, you guys should just be out.
Yeah, doing shit.
Doing things, events, experiences, meeting friends.
Yeah, go for a run. Do something. You don't need to be like home. Cold plunging.
I cold plunge.
Yeah, but you're at a different phase of your life. Your life's, over. So it's different. You're cold plunging now. You're not trying to like find your purpose in life.
No, but I'm not structuring my day around a cold plunge. If I can get a cold plunge in, I'll get a cold plunge in.
Yeah. Fuck cold plunge.
You just don't like it because I have one.
I thought you had a sauna.
I'm getting a sauna.
Oh. I thought you had a sauna this whole time.
You're a big heat guy.
I just, cold plunge, it's just too cold.
It's freezing.
Yeah. It's literally cold. I don't even like saunas either. It's too boring for me. It's just boring.
I think cold plunging is very challenging and saunas aren't. And it's just actually refreshing.
It's not challenging at all. You just sit there.
What? Cold plunge?
No, sauna.
Sauna is easy.
Stupid.
No, but there's so many like cardiovascular benefits to it.
I feel like cold plunge is more beneficial than a sauna.
You got to do both. 320.
All right, whatever. Fuck those guys. All right. I mean, this is it. This is probably, it's always shocking how like January comes out guns blazing.
Yep.
With news. This is the biggest blockbuster news, I don't know, in a very, very long time. Epstein's list.
It's coming out today. It's 1:44 p.m. Pacific time.
Yeah.
The list is not out.
Yeah.
So we apologize. We may have to add it to the predictions list.
Yeah.
When it comes out.
Yeah. But we are getting some version of the Epstein list. There will be names redacted. They've made that clear.
But why are names redacted?
Because it's people like Jimmy Kimmel and Oprah. These people want their names redacted. I don't know why they don't want them redacted. It's just, it must be so bad who these names are. Like, who could it be that would just cause...
Because we already know it's Bill Gates, Trump, and Clinton. So 3 of the most important people in the world.
Okay.
Well, that's fact.
Yeah.
That's already been like discovered.
Yeah, there's pictures.
So what names could there be? That's what I don't get. I know the list is coming out today. And even if it's redacted, what name would shock you? Leon Black's on the list, the Apollo guy.
What name?
What would be shocking?
LeBron.
LeBron's not on the list.
Okay, that would be shocking to me. I'd want that redacted for myself if he was on it.
I just don't get...
How about... Like, there's a woman that wants to be redacted.
A woman that was on the island?
Jane Doe 107.
Because these are the flight logs.
Yes.
That's what's being released,
Yes.
the flight logs.
So there's a woman that's actively... She's the one that's holding up this list. That's what everyone keeps reporting. So who could this woman be? Queen Elizabeth?
No. I mean, the other prince already was... he's on the list.
I know, but Queen's more powerful.
Here's the thing where I struggle with, and I've I've just kind of talked about it with friends. What did this guy have? Because if you wanted to play hanky panky, it's really easy to play hanky panky.
No, but I think you're missing. This is why one of the conspiracy theorists is around them being Mossad agents. And the reason why is you have
But how do you convince someone who's a billionaire? If you're a billionaire, you clearly had some sort of acumen to get to that
Let me tell you something. If I was a billionaire and I went to one of our billionaire friends and be like, hey, do you want to go to the Miami Heat game Wednesday, playing the Lakers? And then we're going to just hop on over to my beach house. You know how many people are saying yes?
Okay.
Okay.
And then once you're there,
Yes.
you realize what's going on and you're like, I got to get out.
Okay. So
then why do they stay?
So I think I would say, if I were to guess, 50% of the people are like, whoa, I gotta get the fuck out. And I think they do, right? Like, I think they figure out that this is not my scene. I don't want to be here. The other 50% is like, I'm here already.
Let me dabble.
Let me dabble. What's the worst that happened? Everyone else is here. I know this guy. He's here. This guy's here. This guy's there. This guy.
How did he orchestrate this? This is what I don't get.
That's
These
why
are some of the most, talented people in the history of the world.
What you can't seduce them?
You could seduce one or two, not everyone.
It's, you know how easy it is to take down guys? If you want to take down most powerful men in the world, it's so easy.
But no, here's my point. If you're a billionaire that has made a lot of money, that has some sort of, smarts, you could do this on your own without someone else having it over you.
I know, but you have to understand, like, a lot of people don't understand that and don't know that. So these people, they see some hot girl talking to them and go, hey, we're all going to this island. You want to come? Yeah, fuck it. She's going to fuck me. I'm going to go to this island. And you don't understand how simple it is.
I understand how simple it is from
you don't know
that.
how simple.
I just don't understand how these people are stupid enough to have one guy be the patriarch of your shenanigans.
I don't think it's that hard to seduce powerful people.
I don't think it is at all.
I think it's so easy.
But I don't think you can get them all in one island.
That's why people believe that this is he had backing. It wasn't acting.
Because there's plenty of people doing plenty of stuff, but they do it in private and you never hear about it.
This was done in private too. It just got exposed by Alex Jones. Otherwise, it would never got exposed.
No, it was the Miami Reporter.
Yeah, but this guy pounding the pavement for fucking a decade. The thing is like, we don't want to believe these things are true because they're so disgusting that you don't want to believe these things are true. But the worst things are happening. We get every day, a politician molesting some kid and popes doing that and this, that. Like, you hear about these crazy stories. They're unfathomable to the average
the Catholic
person.
Church is unfathomable.
Yeah, like, it's unfathomable what's happening to these types of, like, children being molested. And then when you hear about this Epstein thing, for an average person, it's insane. But then when you go to the fringe of society, where they think the most fucked up things are happening, because in history it has happened, you see something like this unfold, and you start going down this rabbit hole of, like, similarly to, like, we're never going to get a real answer on COVID, SARS-CoV-2, whatever the fuck it was called. Like, we're never going to get the real answer on what actually happened.
I think we know right at this point, right?
No, but that's not public fact. Like, the US government has not come out and said a lab that we backed where we were fucking around and playing around with shit by accidentally leaked the world's deadliest virus. Like, that's never going to come out. So because of that, you're going to lead to massive speculation. And then in this case, this unfortunately, like, is turning out to kind of be worse than what we thought it was.
Yeah, I mean,
because I remember when Bill Gates first was announced, and the way that he played it off is like, I met the guy once.
And then he was on all the flight logs.
And this guy is like million miler of fucking Jeffrey Epstein. So it's like, when you think about it like that, like, holy shit, what were they? Then you're like, that's another level of, like, layer that's being released. So, like, what's going to happen when this list goes out? It's fucking chaos. The problem is what's going to be redacted.
What's going to be redacted and what are the consequences? Because we already named Clinton, Trump, Gates. We know they're on the list.
Yeah.
There's like no question.
Well, you need the women to
And has
come.
it affected their careers? They haven't. Trump might be president next year.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're going after him for like tax evasion. There's better stuff to go after. I think the thing is if there are
Like Leon Black, the founder of Apollo, multi-billionaire. He's on the list.
yeah,
It's known.
yeah. There's a lot of people on the list. Yeah, I'm very curious.
Is it just like fun TikTok fodder, or does anything actually happen? Does anyone? I don't even know how you prove, because just because you're on the flight log doesn't mean you
That's my
slept
point.
with an underage girl.
Yeah, that's my point, is that if none of the women ever come out, because they're the only ones left to really prove this, right? Maxwell is going to the grave with this.
Mm-hmm.
Epstein, they smoked. So unless the women come out, or what if they're not alive? God knows at this point.
Yeah, because it could just be denied. I went on the island.
Like when you watch these TikTok videos, and I don't know if any of this is true, but everyone involved with this thing is dying.
Yeah. It's like the clumsy Russian billionaire that keeps falling out of a window.
Yeah, I mean, they're pushing everyone out the window here. Oh, fire goes up in flames. The DA in this city is now dead. It's just like crazy shit. It's unfathomable what's happening with this list. And it's so hard. And it's like, it gives truth to everyone who believes this crazy shit.
Well, it gives truth to believing every conspiracy theory.
You have to believe it. You have to take a slice of it.
Especially if you're just like, just a working guy and you're struggling to pay bills. You're just like, fuck these guys.
And you see this guy on a flight log 53 times going to an island where there's underage girls. That is like the anger you must have.
Why underage? There's a lot of professional
Sex workers?
Sex workers. Why? What's what underage?
And that has always been for 20 years, pedophilia in Hollywood, pedophilia among the elites. Sickos. And then, so the other big news that happened in the last 24 hours, Aaron Rodgers was on the Pat McAfee show.
I'll take this because I actually watch it.
Okay.
So Aaron Rodgers, Pat McAfee signed an $85 million contract with ESPN this past year. He's on
all day.
He's on all day. They replay everything.
Yeah.
And then he's on for 3 hours straight.
Yeah.
1 hour is on
He's like a Howard Stern type.
ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
And then 2 hours are on ESPN proper. And he has Aaron Rodgers on every Tuesday. Aaron Rodgers has a 7-figure contract with the Pat McAfee show. Don't know if he pays it or ESPN pays it, but he comes on from 10 a.m. to like 10:55 before they break for commercial. No commercials. That's what's actually kind of cool about the show. There's 0 commercials to the last 5 minutes of the show. And they're just like ripping they're just like talking shit. And Rodgers has said a handful of controversial stuff on the show where ESPN has literally just like blurred him out and like gone to commercial early because he just starts going on his like conspiracy rant. And yesterday he was on, and AJ Hawk, who's one of the like characters on the show, says like, "Hey, they know they're gonna get something out of him."
Yeah, they're egging him on.
They said, "So what do you think about the Epstein list?" He's like, "Bring it up," just to get him to go. Because when he talks about COVID, he called Kelsey Mr. Pfizer.
Yeah.
He's just giving bites that are just going viral and viral. And he starts speculating that Jimmy Kimmel is on the list.
Yeah.
And what's weird is on Sunday or Monday, I forget, it started going viral on Twitter that Kimmel and Steven Spielberg were on the list.
Okay.
With no backing.
Someone just started the rumor.
Just like started TikTok, conspiracy theory. So I think maybe he like
picked up on that.
Picked up on that. And him and Kimmel have beef.
Yeah. Kimmel shits on him all the time.
Kimmel shits on him. And then Rodgers starts hinting that Kimmel's going to be on the list.
I'll open a bottle if he's on the list.
I'll open the Scotch bottle.
Yeah.
And here's what's really dangerous. So then Kimmel came back right after the show and said, "Dear asshole, and writes this whole rant about like, I've never met him. I've
Yeah.
never been on the plane with him.
Yeah.
Never been on an island.
Yeah.
If you want to debate the facts, let's go to court.
Yeah.
And if Kimmel, let's assume Kimmel is telling the truth, okay? Because that's if you're on the list, you can't write that tweet. You know if you're on the list or not on the list.
I don't know. Bill Gates denied a lot of it. And yeah, he's on the list with a lot of fucking steps.
So the problem now is the damage is done.
Yeah.
Half the country thinks Kimmel is a pedophile
Yeah.
that is on the list, and they took that as fact. Because Aaron Rodgers has kind of been this anti-vaxxer,
Yeah.
proponent of what a lot of the country thinks at this
Yeah.
point. And if you look at right-wing Twitter, they've gone bananas
Yeah.
saying, fuck Jimmy Kimmel, this, that. And that's the problem in 2024, where Aaron Rodgers, who's super famous, has a massive platform. Says things that he knows are going to go viral. People just take it for fact.
Yeah.
And now Kimmel, let's assume he's scot clean in this. The damage is just like totally done.
Yeah. But those are the people that are like dunking on him, Kimmel. They weren't watching his show. So I don't think they're like his core fans that like is going to affect his business.
I don't think it affects his business.
So what's the problem?
No, but then you start getting conspiracy theories. It's going to be Bill Gates, Jimmy Kimmel,
Yeah.
Donald Trump, Clinton now.
Yeah.
Regardless of, no one's reading the list that listened to the clip.
No, everyone. That list is going to be the most read thing since the fucking Bible.
And Pat McAfee today had to open the show with like, hey, we say things, we riff pretty quickly on this show, and we're not about negative energy. And I hope Aaron and Jimmy Kimmel settle this. And, someone must have called Pat. Then now there's articles saying Disney executives freaked out.
Yeah,
over that.
of course. And look, I think
And Pat McAfee,
didn't apologize though.
he didn't apologize. He said, look, I get why Jimmy Kimmel responded.
Yeah.
Because if someone said that about me,
Yeah.
I would respond the exact
Yeah.
same way. So he was totally cool with Jimmy
Yeah.
Kimmel saying that. And
Of course, it's great for him.
it's great for me.
Well, Aaron Rodgers come and drop to him. You think Aaron Rodgers cares about the $1 million that the fucking ESPN pays him?
No, of course
He's
not.
going to double down next week.
Potentially.
Get fired. Do you understand? Aaron Rodgers can go launch a podcast tomorrow on Barstool Sports and be number one in America.
Yeah, for sure. My point really is how in the way we consume content in 2024, it doesn't matter what the truth is at this point.
Yeah, but simultaneously, like if you look at the Jimmy Kimmel clips dunking on him for not taking the vaccine, at that moment, that was a popular thing to say. In hindsight, there was nothing wrong with Aaron Rodgers not wanting to take the vaccine, right? And so people...
Well, so Jimmy Kimmel actually dunked on him for saying that there was an Epstein list, and there is an Epstein list.
Yes. And so that's my point, is that like Aaron Rodgers, we clowned Aaron Rodgers on this podcast about not taking the fucking vaccine for the purposes of playing in the NFL. We clowned him on that. I remember. And so...
No, we clowned him for saying he was immunized. He was still playing.
Yeah, but I'm just saying...
It was his language. He didn't want to say he was not taking the vaccine.
Yeah, but my point is that we were clowning him too. We were part of that process. So now Aaron Rodgers is like, has found his audience, and they're like, fuck Jimmy Kimmel. Like, you think you're better than me because you took the vaccine and I didn't, or you didn't think there was an Epstein list and I did. It's like, it's more of like the thumbing the nose down on people.
I think that's obviously the
You shouldn't do that anyways. And I think like the Jimmy Kimmels of the world, it's just like, that's a huge group of people. The thumb their nose down on a lot of people all the fucking time. And so you find that angle, you're going to take them down.
Yeah, but I mean, there's one thing if Aaron Rodgers wanted to dunk on Jimmy Kimmel for some of his COVID takes, he could do that. But to insinuate he was on the island when he has no proof he was on the island other than some like viral Twitter.
I mean, I watched the clip. He just basically said, if Jimmy Kimmel's on the list, I'll open up a bottle or whatever he said. Like, he didn't say he was. He goes, if he was. I just think I think one, it's great for both of them from a content perspective. Because equally amount of people are dunking on Aaron Rodgers. Jimmy Kimmel fans are saying Aaron Rodgers is a piece of shit. He's a bad person.
Next Tuesday is going to be Blockbuster.
Yes.
When Rodgers comes back on.
Is Jimmy Kimmel still on the air?
Yeah. Making a fortune.
So, exactly. I'm sure Bob Iger called Pat McAfee and said, and he had to play it toe the line because Pat McAfee is the future of Disney, not fucking Jimmy Kimmel.
Here's the thing. I don't want Pat McAfee to take shit for this because I watch his show. He is very positive.
Yeah.
He does not like, it's first take is shitting on everyone.
Yeah.
LeBron missed a 3. Fuck LeBron.
Yeah.
You know, that's first take.
Yeah.
And no one shits on first take.
Yeah.
Pat McAfee, everyone thinks it's a clown show. And he went around the room with all his characters. So this guy got into Harvard. This guy's the highest football IQ of anyone I know. I used to
listen to this podcast like 5 years ago.
Yeah. So my point is, and he's never negative.
Yeah.
He's never negative. Even when they're like critical of players, they kind of spin it in a positive way.
Yeah. No, I think he's fine. They're going to have to pay him more.
Yeah.
I think he's very underpaid.
You know,
if you're paying Jimmy Kimmel $25 million, you should be paying
Stephen A is up for negotiation in 18 months, apparently.
Yeah.
And I don't think they're going to renew because he's going to ask for something astronomical.
I would definitely cut him. And by the way, did you see, I don't know if you saw this, Chad Ochocinco and Shannon Sharp's.
Yeah, I told you about it.
I know, but I'm saying they have 600,000 YouTube subscribers in 3 months.
Yeah.
That means they're going to be bigger than every show on ESPN in fucking 3 months.
And they added Gilbert Arenas.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm just saying there's like these new, you have to think differently. Like Pat McAfee was stepping out and making a big, bold bet. That's what's going to save ESPN, save these properties outside the live sports thing that position yourself in such an incredible way. All right, this is a piece of news that's just taken over my social media. And what's interesting is the hydration industry has just exploded. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by hydration, I mean drinkware. I was looking at our house recently. We have so many fucking water bottles. It's out of control.
Water bottles like steel, aluminum types?
So my wife likes a brand called Simple Modern. We have 10 fucking bottles from Simple Modern. The kids have Yetis. The kids have some other brand with all these prints on it.
I see Dom with the bottle.
We have 40, 50 bottles in our house. I'm not even joking. 40, 50 bottles, which I thought was just completely asinine that we have this many bottles in our house. Then someone posted an article about Stanley. Stanley is a drinkware brand manufacturer that's been around for 110 years. 110 years. This is a Seattle-based company that was literally doing $70 million a year. Then in 2020, and I'm guessing this is during the pandemic, this is, TikTok craze, they start going viral. And they actually make a hire, which I think is a really important hire. They actually hired a person named Terrence Riley, who had spent 7 years at Crocs and who was the lead strategist at Crocs. And they hired him to be CEO in 2020. This person comes along and makes some serious changes. And they have this jug called a quencher, which they were going to discontinue. But the CEO then goes to a group in Utah, like a buying group, and basically lets it be exclusive for them and makes them do all the marketing for it. And this group buys 5,000 quenchers and sells it amongst themselves. This fucking business in 2019 did $94 million. Okay. He comes in 2020.
Talk about slow and steady. How long do you say the company's been around?
110 years. Okay. Sorry. In 2019, they did 73 million. Correct me. 2020, this guy comes along, does 94. In 2021, they do 194 million. In 2022, they did 400 million. $400 million. And apparently they're going even bigger this year. 2023, it's projected they did $750 million.
What's the uniqueness of the product?
It's a big fucking jug. And they do good colors.
I'm just traditional plastic water bottle.
You're single-use plastic.
Yeah.
You want a shitty plastic and then just throw it on the floor.
Give me the Dasani and
let it destroy the environment. For a woke person, you're really not sustainable. And this thing, and then you read this article, each one of these bottles is like 50, 60, 70 fucking dollars. It's gone so viral. If you saw on StockX, quenchers are on StockX for up to $1,000.
But is there any uniqueness of this bottle versus all the other bottles that are on the market?
Just it's it's fashion, right? Like you have to think about things. This is the prime example.
So then they have like clear risk because the next fashionable bottle can come out.
So look, Yeti is a massive business. Simple Modern does hundreds of millions of dollars. Brewmate, which is a friend, does hundreds of millions of dollars. This market is huge.
So if everyone's hydrated and wellness products, why are health disorders more through the roof than ever? Why is life expectancy coming down? Why is everyone on Ozempic?
Because in those hydration cups is not water.
There you go.
Yeah.
It's a soda.
Yeah. It's just, you could have 60 ounces of soda now. Because you can only get a big gulp at 7-Eleven.
Just drinking water nonstop.
Now you just take your Stanley to In-N-Out.
You get a slushie.
You just put fucking 60 ounces of Coke in there.
So are people getting the McFlurry and just pour it into
I'll have 10 McFlurries. Well, I have one. When you have 10, it's easier. But this Stanley thing is phenomenal. And I don't think people realize this was the genius of Beats by Dre. When they realized the headphone, which is exterior
fashion accessory.
Yes. Water bottles are a fashion accessory. And there's so much, this market is so big because every water bottle speaks to a different consumer. If you're an outdoors person, you're getting a Yeti. If you're now clearly like a lot of young women are using Stanley. If you're a mom, you may get this brand. If you're a college student, you may get that brand.
It's interesting. Michael Rubin has said this in so many interviews that when he's thinking through product offerings for fanatics early on, Jay-Z told him, you have to realize a hat is a fashion accessory.
Yeah.
It's not use case.
No.
You're not trying to block the sun.
No.
You're trying to look cooler. You're trying to,
I mean, why the hell do I wear a Yankee hat every day?
He made a Yankee hat more famous than a Yankee cap.
I've heard that. People have said that before. Fascinating story. I think this market is fascinating. I think there's a lot of extensions that brands can do, like drinkware, that you're not even realizing. Christian Dior should have $1,000 water bottle. You know how many people would buy that? A Dior.
Yeah, you want to be on a Zoom with the Dior water bottle.
That's hot.
Everyone has a water bottle on a Zoom, by the way.
Yeah.
I see everyone just drinking.
Yeah, they're hydrating. Slushies. You're better off actually getting, like, your favorite brand should have a water bottle and you should be buying it. It's like socks. Every brand makes socks. Every brand makes hats. You make backpacks. Drinkware is now a thing. Like, we have 50 bottles. We're one family. There's people here talking about women have 50, 60 Stanleys.
Yeah, I bet Dom would prefer a Rams water bottle.
Yeah, he would prefer a Rams bottle. I don't know if that's available for his size that he needs. Lots of opportunity.
The group chat bottle.
Group chat water bottle. Ooh. I'm going to ask Brewmate to make it for us.
Perfect.
Sweet Lady Jane. If you live in Los Angeles and you go to birthday parties, you're probably eating a Sweet Lady Jane cake.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in like Metro LA. Sweet Lady Jane is a bakery that has 6 locations in and around LA. Not cheap.
No, $60 cakes.
Basic cake is $60. You want a little boom, 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 you're at $400. It's that expensive a cake. Abruptly shuts down. Mm-hmm. 6 locations saying, oh, something about California, the wind, the sun. I don't know, nonsense.
They're just saying it's between rent and employee costs, you can't make money.
Why do they need to be in a retail location? That's what they're so famous.
You could be a ghost.
You could literally be a ghost kitchen. You could be on the second floor of a building and you don't need to be, there's no walk-in traffic for $200 cake.
Funny business.
Mega funny business.
Okay.
I don't want to get caught by the Sweet Lady Jane mob, but
it's
shocking that their business must be booming.
Their fans are going crazy.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest. The cake, it's mid. big mid energy.
I hate fruitcakes.
Yeah, I'm not into
I want a typical Baskin Robbins cookies
Ice
and
cream.
cream.
Yeah, that's a real cake. So I'm not surprised they shut down. We were talking football. The numbers from Michigan and Alabama came out, the Rose Bowl. Incredible football game. Incredible energy. There's so many people were in town. You saw everyone wearing Michigan and Alabama stuff all over Los Angeles. The Rose Bowl, which happens in Pasadena.
The granddaddy of them all.
Granddaddy of them all. Incredible game. The viewership came out. 32.8 million viewers. The biggest college game in, I don't know, like a decade or something. The highest rated cable anything of the year. It's just football.
Linear TV should be football 12 months a year.
And then people talking about football. Why doesn't, I've said this before on this podcast, NFL is September to February. March to August is college. We solve all our problems.
Yeah, linear TV has one product that works.
I mean, it's the greatest thing. I mean, I was in Mexico over New Year's. All I want to do is watch football. We had to download VPNs and BPNs and this, Fubo TV, just to watch a game.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of headache we had to do to go watch a game. It's unbelievable.
And I can't imagine what the national title game this upcoming Monday is going to be.
100 million? I don't know.
It's probably like 45, 50.
Easy. It's Michigan again, which is a very popular school.
Yeah. And Washington has a star quarterback.
Yeah. And there's no Monday Night Football, so fuck it. You have to watch. Unbelievable.
Yeah. Blockbuster. We've been the champions of football for a handful of years.
I think they got to move college. Because if you shift NFL to just Sunday, to this new schedule and move college, you can have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Thursday NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because now you're not competing with, we can't watch 7 games at once. It's stupid. Ratings would be so much higher. Why do I have to I want to watch all the games. So just spread it out. And then spread it out so everyone gets 6 days rest. Figure that piece out. That's your use case for AI, making a proper NF schedule where everyone gets 6 days.
You could do that in 2 minutes.
That's finally a good use case for AI. And then let everyone play football all fucking day. And then college in the spring and summer is on Saturdays and Sundays.
They don't want summer. I know all the sports leagues hate summer.
Why?
Because families are doing trips.
Let me tell you, everyone's canceling their fucking trips. If there's Michigan, Alabama, Michigan, USC, you'll make a vacation out of it. Do you think if Michigan, USC play in the dead of the summer, you think that stadium's empty?
No, the stadium will be packed, but viewership, you're at Yosemite, you're at freaking
national parks might be done if college football gets moved.
That could be
maybe the U.S. government is nervous about it because we're shutting down these national parks. If college football is on every weekend in the summer, no one's going anywhere.
No one's camping.
No one's leaving their house.
Yeah. And you got to stop pretending these college football players are student athletes. They're athletes.
Yeah.
They're all getting paid.
Let them get paid.
Yeah.
As much as they want. I think college players should get as much money as they want.
It's so fascinating. I see, because now you can just go to any school. Like the Ole Miss quarterback, he was at USC, and I had no idea he was the Ole Miss quarterback.
Wow.
Just went through the portal, boom, won a big game.
And it's changed the sport. It's so fun now.
Yeah. It's good for them.
All right, moving on. One thing we've talked about a lot is owning versus renting. It's a big topic, and people have a very strong view, especially people that own homes have a very strong view about, I want to own a home. I own a home. It has created equity value for me. I write off the interest. And there's the case that owning a home over the last 30 years was the right thing to do. Last 50 years was the right thing to do. There's an article in the Wall Street Journal that came out about the rise of the forever renters. And they were using some pretty interesting statistics really around the number of high income people that are now renting. Like there was a stat in an apartment complex in where is this? What city was this? In a high end area in somewhere in the Northeast, basically 25% of their renters make over $200,000 a year, which historically that was a homeowner.
Yep.
I think the other statistic is amongst people that earn more than $1 million, renting has gone up dramatically. So those people clearly can afford a home, but they've opted into renting. I think there's this interesting shift where I don't believe like owning a home will ever go like that. I don't think it'll ever go away. I think the reason why there's less people who desire to do that is that it's really fucking hard to do it than it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago. If you want to own a home in Metro LA, there's definitely nothing under $1 million, and there's more likely nothing under 1.5, 2 million in this particular pocket of Los Angeles. Meaning you have to have somewhere between $300,000 and $400,000 of down payment, plus whatever absurd amount like you have to pay for mortgage, property tax, and then upkeep of the home. So you start doing the math. What's more important to you, that you own this home or the actual place you live in? Like for me, I'm living in a house that I rent that is substantially better than what I could own.
Yeah.
And so I'm more comfortable renting because I get to live in a better place that's better for me and my family.
Most people that I know that have purchased high-end homes in the last, call it 3 to 4 years, they said the expenses that started incurring are astronomical.
Yeah.
They were like, this is stupid.
But those are people that spent a lot of money on a home.
Yeah. And I think the reason to own is if you're, I mean, I know that so many people are going to disagree with what I'm about to say, is owning a home as an investment, you're not outpacing the S&P 500.
Yeah.
The S&P was up 24% this year.
Yeah.
No home was up 24% this year. NASDAQ was up 54% this year.
Yeah.
So from a purpose of investment of where you park your capital, not a smart decision.
Yeah.
If this is the forever place where you want to create emotional, sentimental things, totally get that.
Yeah. I agree with that. I don't think it's the best investment today, given the access to other investments you can make. Specifically, just historically, we have the data on the S&P. Like, I think, what is it, 8% a year on average or something? What is it historically?
Yeah, 9 to 11, something like that.
No home is going up that much.
Not now. I mean, we talk about this all the time. Like, the houses here near the office are $4 million. Are they going to be $8 million in 10 years? No,
they're not.
There's no chance.
No one can afford it. So yeah. So I think, but there's some really interesting statistics where I think there's a huge opportunity. Is I think builders have to think more through the lens of renting. Like, obviously, there's developers in condos and apartments, and particularly rental apartments, where they build these places particularly for rent only. There are not a lot of home communities being built for the purposes of renting only. That's where I think there's an enormous opportunity where, like, I do believe there is a, not majority, very small minority still, but it's growing where they're comfortable renting, gives them the flexibility. And we would rent homes, and we want to rent nice homes, and we would pay a little bit more for it, but we're not committing to buying a home because it's not realistic and not affordable. If you
think about the financial burden of that down payment, if you're buying like any home, if you're putting 30% down or 25% down, it's probably a reasonable amount of the liquid cash you have.
In most cases, it's nearly everything. Yeah.
And then now you're kind of stressing out about
mortgage, insurance, property tax,
and then
upkeep.
Fixing up, like plumbing. You have a roof leak, 10 grand.
Yeah. Way more.
Whatever, 20 grand, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then you keep coming out of cash, which cash you've already parked into the mortgage.
Yeah.
I've always thought that the tax benefit of tying yourself up, unless you have unlimited money, then you could do whatever you want.
Yeah. And I think this other thing, this article is saying, that a lot of people want, I think the one interesting thing about millennials and Gen Z is like, they want what they want. And if you want a swimming pool, a gym, and security, guess what? You're not going to be able to afford to buy in a place like that, a condo. No, you can rent though in a condo that has a swimming pool, a gym, security, underground parking, and you pay a little bit more in rent. You're not out the down payment, and you get exactly what you want, and you're very happy with where you live. Like, I do believe you should live wherever makes you happy. And if renting does that, who gives a shit?
I also think if you're getting yourself into buying a home and then you're stressing about your bills because you bought the home, that's not a good place to be.
No, that's terrible. Because then it's like you added, because rental, you can always bulk.
You can always downgrade real quickly.
Yeah.
If you lose your job, you're like, okay, I'll pay half and I'll go somewhere else.
Exactly. So here's the interesting statistic. Nearly 103 million people in America live in rental housing in 2022. That is a 15% increase from 2007. That's a big fucking number.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people living in rental. And I think the biggest growth has been in the middle and upper class, where they're like transitioning. Historically, those are the people that bought the homes, but they've kind of opted for this different lifestyle. And it's like, specifically outside California, you're seeing this. Like, this is in this Wall Street Journal article, they're talking about Dawsonville, Georgia, where they get to stay in a 4-bedroom townhome. They rent for $2,000 a month. $2,000, 4-bedroom townhome. Mm-hmm. That's fucking awesome.
And guess what? When you rent, your plumbing goes haywire. The owner has to pay for it, not you.
Yeah. The other interesting thing is home ownership share around the world in 2022. Guess what the home ownership in China is?
In China? So I think in the US it's 35%.
64.
Wow. Xi made everyone buy a home.
89% in China. No, 64% is United States.
Oh, wow. I thought it was 35%.
So yeah, homeownership in China is 89%, United States 64%, Brazil it's high. There's certain India is like 87%. These are
a lot of people losing money.
In China particularly. I don't think in America, if you looked at homeownership, I don't think people are losing money. That I don't believe in America. Like, they're net positive on their home investments.
Yeah, they're net positive, but you could have been net more positive.
Well, the problem is you have to also keep in mind the tax deductions that people get from it. If you think about it from that lens, you probably net out in some cases the same, because the deductions are pretty valuable for a lot of people. Because if you're a W-2 employee, where else do you get deductions? Mm-hmm. Like if you're a lawyer or a doctor, you need that mortgage to help you get some more deductions. Yep. Right? So
if you're a W-2 employee and you're not savvy enough to trust yourself with investing, I get it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not a bad option for a lot of people. I think it's an easy option where you still end up positive at the end of the investment in most cases.
You can refinance and
exactly. There are a lot of benefits to it. When if your home equity goes up and interest rates get low again, it's free money.
You listen to this podcast, you could have made more money.
Yeah, I mean, just that's obvious. All right, moving on. Got to talk Harvard.
Sure.
So Claudine Gay, the president of Harvard, has officially resigned. She remains on the faculty.
She resigned as the president, but still is employed by Harvard.
She gets her $900,000 a year salary and stays on the faculty of whatever department that she has to be on. So this was probably the settlement that appeased the most amount of people, which is they wanted her removed. She probably threatened lawsuits, blah, 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 blah. And she gets to get her fat salary of $900,000 a year. She stays on faculty. I mean, I don't know what the hell she's going to be teaching. And this has been one of the most fascinating things because I understand she probably has her pride and her point, but I would have fucking quit that job 2 weeks ago.
So I would, this is obviously pure speculation from what we've all seen on social media, news, whatnot. All of these presidents of these universities were coached by lawyers that were paid by the universities.
Yeah.
And they made their comments as abhorrent as they were, that she probably turned around to the university and said, your lawyers told me to say this.
Yeah.
I'm not saying she shouldn't be resigned, but that's her argument to be, if you're her,
Yeah.
you'd be like,
Yeah.
university lawyers told me to
But
say
she's a
this.
plagiarizer. She doesn't have an original thought.
So what's interesting is she's resigning amid plagiarism allegations, nothing to do about the testimony.
yeah. Because they found the angle. Like, this is like, it's all Bill Ackman. It was single-handedly him pressuring the shit out of the school. And I think publicly that led to, okay, everyone has a weakness. If you want to get rid of anyone, you can get rid of anyone. Of
course.
Right? And they found her weakness, which is she's copycats. which was fascinating was learning more about how many papers she had published. She'd only published like 11 papers. And then they talked about the other presidents that have how many papers they've published to get to this point. And this is where the this notion around DEI, which if you don't know what that is, that's diversity, equity, inclusion, which has become a new department in many companies, many colleges, and basically trying to find ways to inject diversity into your workforce and leadership, which I felt that we had the right intentions when they were thinking through it. But what it ended up doing is putting people that in some cases were not qualified for the position. And I think that it actually has done more damage for underrepresented groups because now there's a full fucking backlash where everyone's like, I'm not going to, I don't want to deal with this. Why even hire them? Why even hire some underrepresented person? You can't fire them. You hire an underrepresented person, you cannot remove them, is what corporate America is thinking now. So that is a backlash because now you're not going to give the opportunity to people that deserve it. It's so fucking stupid.
Yeah, I think quotas for the most part don't make sense.
Yeah.
And I always go back to a quote from Ben Horowitz. He said this publicly, founder of Andreessen Horowitz, Silicon Valley firm. He always says, quotas are stupid, but if you expand where you're looking for the talent pool, you'll inevitably have diversity because you'll find talented people across everywhere.
Of course.
So if you're willing to, I also think you just can't look at, certain groups and say, I'm only interviewing these people. You have to expand the talent pool of where you're looking and you'll find super talented people across all diversity.
I agree. I think you as an underrepresented person need to put yourself in a position to win. Because I think the problem that I have with because
also just for context, for people who don't know who Ben Horowitz is or Andreessen, they're like the most inclusive Silicon Valley firm ever created.
Yeah.
And one of the most successful firms ever created.
So my point is around, I think, why do you think Indian people who are considered a minority in this country have not had the same challenges as other ethnic
Selection
groups?
bias, purely.
Why?
Our parents' generations, the ones that came over here in the 70s, were already super motivated academically to find a better life. And we just have this weird population of all people bred, and it'll trail off, in my opinion, because our parents' generation sacrificed everything for education, money, but in America.
Yeah.
And they were able to just instill that to this new generation, which is still small. I think Indians are 3.5 million people in the country.
But
It's
we're
nothing.
so overrepresented in corporate America.
Yeah, but I'm saying it's selection bias if we came to the country.
Yeah.
They were already super motivated people.
Yeah.
It's not like janitors and busboys were coming here.
Yeah.
It was people that were engineers, doctors, people who work in McKinsey that were able to come over here.
But why is there a stereotype that every Indian wants to be an engineer or doctor, even in India? Forget America. Don't you think there's a cultural reason why Indian people have been very successful in this country?
In this country, yeah, because it's selection
I know,
bias.
but even
if you
were-
go to London, where it's everyone. It's the guy cleaning the toilets in the airport.
Yeah.
Is Indian.
But
the guy
the guy running the country is also fucking Indian.
Sure.
But my point is it's
No, but I'm saying in London and UK,
Yeah.
it's vertical. You have everything. In the US, you don't, because you only had smart people that came over in the 70s.
We have we have people that work at 7-Elevens, not just own them. We worked at 7-Elevens, right? There are Indian people at all, but we have enough have floated to the top versus any other group. It's like, it's not even comparable.
In America, sure, but in India, you still have 40% poverty, 35% poverty.
That's a corruptional country issue that it's.
I don't think everyone in India values education the way Indians in America value education.
You don't think the vast majority of Indian population value education? It's the one thing that's keeping the country out of complete implosion.
I think you just have so many people that even if it's a marginal percentage, it's still 100, 200 million people.
I would say that then in every country where you've seen this this group of Indian people, like think about it. You have friends of Philippines. They're very successful. They're Indian. We have the Prime Minister of England is Indian. It's very interesting. It kind of breaks the mold because our color of our skin should think that we are not supposed to get these opportunities. Because that is what they're saying, is that the skin color is preventing some folks from getting certain opportunities. That is what their goal is.
I think it's systematic oppression from 80 years ago that is preventing people from getting opportunities.
Okay, but you think every other ethnic group except Indian?
No, I'm saying the ones that came here one leg up. They're already educated. Our parents already had undergraduate degrees when they came here.
Yeah. But how is that happening? That's not the
I'm saying the institutional part of what's happened in America is there's certain groups that just were prevented.
I understand that, but we've made efforts to create these inclusionary things and we're not making progress anywhere.
Yeah, a different strategy.
Yeah.
It could be.
That's my point. Is the strategy is not working.
I think DEI at large had a good intention, but there's probably a better way to do it. Like affirmative action, the intention was good. There's a better way to do it.
Yeah.
And
I don't think there. I want to believe there is. I actually don't think there is.
It could be income at this point, because if you think about the opioid crisis that's ripping the Midwest, which is a predominantly white population.
Yeah.
Now they're generationally screwed.
Yeah.
Think about it. If you have a kid that had an opioid addiction and you spent all this money trying to, solve this.
Yeah.
And it could be an income thing. I mean, that's also been a theory that's been thrown out. Like, let's look at income levels and guarantee education for income levels.
Yeah. But we can't do that in this climate because you can't help unfortunately, if you start everyone makes everything about skin color. I agree with you. Midwest white people have been fucking left behind.
For sure.
They're not, you can't bring them into this inclusion conversation.
That's why it could be an income thing.
Yeah.
Given what's happened, yeah. I mean, we've taken all the factory jobs away in the Midwest, cratered communities.
Yeah. And now you expect them to be self-supportive and they can't.
Yeah.
Self-sufficient. That's why I think it's a pretty tough thing to solve for in this climate.
What the
because diversity, equity, inclusion should mean income too.
Yes,
right.
It shouldn't. I agree.
Yeah. So if you go by that pace, there's a group of people that will not allow white people to be included in this.
Yeah, I'm all for helping disadvantaged communities, but it also includes a family that's been ripped by the opioid crisis.
Yeah,
that was institutionally created by our government and pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah. So but that takes everyone to accept that there are white people in this country that are not treated fairly.
I think there's been enough documentaries and movies about the crisis that
you can't say that out loud.
I just said it.
I know. I'm just saying if you wanted to have a microphone about this topic and say there are white people in this country getting treated unfairly, that is not a popular statement.
Of course it's, I think in this climate, it's actually becoming a more popular statement.
I don't see no politicians saying that. And to politicians, they cater to the few groups. They're not catering to suburban.
They're also getting money from all the pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah. But I'm just saying I think if your point is that there's people that agree with that.
I think people privately, if they were honest with themselves, would agree with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen like 6 documentaries.
Yeah, I
slash
watched
movies.
all of them too.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
We systematically destroyed a percentage of the population
Yeah.
that was predominantly white.
Yeah.
Because everyone's white in the movies, the
Yeah.
documentaries.
Yeah. There's no DEI there. That's my point, is that like I don't think these programs work because we're not going to include everyone that should be included.
Yeah, I think it's an income thing. I think it's I don't think I am all about helping every group that's underrepresented, but you also have to now, given what's happened in the Midwest, include them too.
But so underrepresented, like if you were to like look in a lot of companies, underrepresented means very different things, like for a lot of different companies. And so the word underrepresented, we don't talk about underrepresented from an income level. We don't talk about geographic underrepresentation. We only talk about underrepresentation when it comes to gender or race. And I think you have to include more levels to it because we're such a melting pot of people that you have to like, if you really want to help people out, you got to be way more thoughtful than it is today. It doesn't work.
I think we're going to get there because I think a lot of the norms are different. Like you're the CEO of a company that's raised a shit ton of venture capital money and you're wearing a Yankees hat.
Yeah.
And a hoodie. That wasn't possible 15 years ago.
No, I mean, I wear this hat for every meeting and I wear a hoodie to every single meeting.
So that's my point.
And I talk how I talk in meetings.
So I think we're just getting closer because I think we're breaking down the barriers of what a professional executive needs to look like.
Yeah, that's fine. I think the bigger issue is that and I'll tell you this firsthand, being Indian in technology is being white.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm a white male. I know I am. The way I get treated, the opportunities I get, that's why I'm like, if you want to help people, help fucking everyone. Don't just help like certain groups of people. Like there's a lot of people that are underrepresented. I would say if you live in the middle of the country, you have so much harder chance of raising venture capital money or getting a job at McKinsey or any of these things. It's like, how do you shift that? That's what I'm more curious to see. What's the solution to solve the problem for everybody, not just certain groups of people? Because I think you got to lift everybody up.
I totally agree with that.
Either way, she's no longer president. Bill Ackman, you can't beat billionaires. What I've learned, like they're just
Carl
unbeatable.
Icahn beat Bill Ackman.
He did.
Billionaire beat a billionaire.
Yeah, you need another billionaire to go at another. Like if there was another billionaire fighting him on it, then maybe this wouldn't have happened.
Yeah,
but he was too relentless. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and for everything Bill Ackman said, which for the most part I agreed with, they fired her on plagiarism.
Yeah,
so they didn't want to count out a Bill Ackman and say we're firing her.
No, they just had no choice. They found the one thing. They're like, fuck, you can't cheat at Harvard.
Yeah,
you can do everything else, but you can't cheat. All right, so what's going on in the Red Sea? Some pirates?
So what's going on in the Red Sea is it's the easiest way from Asia, which manufactures all these goods, to get to Europe and the Middle East. And the Houthis, which is a Yemeni rebel group, have been taking over container ships in stance of protecting Gaza from Israel, saying if it doesn't stop, we're going to create chaos.
Yeah.
The U.S. has started sinking these random rebel groups.
Yeah.
So basically the Red Sea has become inoperable.
Yeah. So you can't take any goods out.
Can't get goods through there. So now goods are going from Asia. If you want to get to Europe, you have to go around the Cape, South Africa.
Which is crazy.
And then go up Africa. So raising prices for containers, which will ultimately raise prices for goods.
Yeah. But it really affects goods in Europe and Middle East more so than anywhere else in the world.
Yeah. How does Asia get to New York? East Coast.
I don't know.
Could it be through the Red Sea? Because we know the West Coast, you just go through the Pacific.
Most goods from China go to the West Coast, though. You don't go into New York. It's too fucking far.
Got it.
Because you can get from Guangzhou to LA now 14 days.
14 days cleared customs.
No, customs add 2-3 days. But like, you can get goods pretty fast right now. Like the ports aren't congested. There's plenty of boats available. So it's like, maybe 3 weeks, including all the, administrative on both sides to get goods. So it's pretty fast.
So manufacturers in New York, where are they getting their goods from? They're getting them from the West Coast ports?
Yeah, most people, like just because you're based in New York doesn't mean your warehouse is in New York.
Sure, you could be in Tennessee or whatever.
Yeah, so like, a lot of, depending on where you make goods, if you're making goods in Asia, then most likely it's getting to an LA port and then you're trucking it to whatever your warehouse location is. If you're making
all the warehouses you go to in New York for your business.
Yeah. It's just faster to bring it through LA than China to New York. There are people that, like specifically 2 years ago, a lot of people were bringing goods through New York. But it does cost more and it does take a longer time. And then there's Miami, which is predominantly used for goods coming out of South America.
Got it. But yeah, this is a real issue, and it could, for Europe and the Middle East, causing inflation in Africa too, right?
Yeah, that's true. Maybe it could be good for Africa.
Different ports. Yeah, geopolitical problems.
Those are the biggest risks for 2024.
Yeah.
All right, shout outs. First, shout out to our YouTube page. Apparently, we got a bunch of subscribers in the last week. We jumped 1,100 subscribers.
Wow.
Yep, YouTube's booming. Got that YouTube magic going on.
Thank you for everyone that's just started joining us on YouTube. Next, we have some shout outs. First is, want to shout out the pod for the advice, insight, laughs, and overall value all you provide. Here are some stats. This is from Sergio. 2023 group chat uploaded 107 episodes. Anand missed 7 episodes. D missed 11 episodes. Drama missed a whopping 37 episodes. We need to improve Drama's number this year. Keep it up, boys. Looking forward to the next Chatty Cathy event. Those are good stats.
Those are good stats. If you're looking for real estate, hit up Sergio.
Yeah. Next is from Leonard Hilty. Big shout out to my friend Kyle Fiore. Huge steps made in both his professional career and music career this year. Big things ahead for 2024. Shout out, Kyle. Next, from Kyle Bullock. Shout out to Ebony Tompkin. So great to see you build a career of your own in the U.S. after a big chunk of time off supporting your husband's dream. If you're looking for a wedding celebrant in the San Francisco area, Ebony is your girl.
What's a celebrant?
I don't know what a celebrant is. Is that someone that celebrates your wedding?
It's a
Like a
party
wedding
guest?
like a party starter?
Yeah.
You invite Ebony, she gets
Like
your party going?
MC?
Or maybe she's like a coordinator.
It says it's a person who's like a priest.
Oh,
Ordained.
nice. From Michael Davila. Shout out to my sister-in-law and brother-in-law, Ray and Brad, and congrats on their new baby Rose and their beautiful family. We are loyal listeners. Kathy's rule. Congratulations. Next one's from Jason. I'm going to butcher your lat's name. Jason Stilgeboer. Shout out to Drama. Didn't realize that when I was 13 years old, watching Robin Big and now being an avid Kathy, listening to group chat, wild how time flies. We appreciate everyone on the pod for the content you put out, keeping us in the know. Thanks, guys. Next, from All Is Well. Shout out to the dummy who lost his Goyard wallet at Whole Foods. Lol. Just kidding. I gave it to the staff. Anyways, Happy New Year.
How do we know if the guy who lost the wallet listens to the pod?
I don't know. My Goyard wallet got stolen recently, so it could be me. From Jacob Servin. Shout out to my wife, Paula. What a crazy year it's been, but watching you become a mom has been incredible. JJ is super lucky. Awesome. Also, shout out to the group chat boys for the hours of content and entertainment. Feel like I'm part of the fam. Happy New Year. Fight on. Big win for us at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Lastly, from Brian Carey. Drama needs to show picture of canceled hotel room reservation. He booked a flight he knew he could get refunded, but never mentally really committed to going. If he paid and canceled the hotel room, I'll buy he was going. Otherwise, we all knew there was zero chance he was going to be anywhere other than LA for Christmas.
I've gotten a lot of DMs that
People are upset about this.
that he made up the whole story.
Yeah. So he's like Bill Gates going to the island.
No one believes that he had any intention of going to Ohio. Sorry, Mr. and Mrs. Path. But that's what the audience is saying.
Yeah. It was all
a ruse.
Yeah. It was theater. Oh, what are you doing for Christmas? Oh, I'm going to go see my parents. You just say it. All right.
Even my mom, our mom,
What'd she
like, she didn't have COVID.
Yeah. Who's still checking for COVID? Jesus Christ. I'm sick of this. Stop testing. Other than that, have a great new year.
Tease two things. We got the predictions episode. Are we going to do winners 2 of 2023? Or are we just doing predictions? Because I'll set up all the topics.
I really want to focus on, we could do some winners. I don't want to spend too much time about 23. I really want to give people the future.
Yeah, we can give the future. And then at the top of the episode, you were talking about goals and stuff.
Yeah.
Drama is trying to get Rob to get on because, he's a very regimented person.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can get him on.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure Rob, the way that he thinks about his goals and how it's written, how he executes, he's hitting every goal every year.
I asked Drama on the last pod, is as intense as I would suspect, knowing that I know him a little bit.
Yeah.
He goes, it's way more.
I mean, he posted on his Instagram the other day, he's working inside of a hyperbaric chamber.
There you go.
All right.
So let's get that on the books soon.
Yeah, I'm excited.
And we're going to do a live event. We have to do one in the first quarter of this year.
We do. And shout out to everyone in the Chatty Cathy Club.
Yep.
Discord's popping. So we appreciate everyone in there. It's always good because the news there hits first.
Mm-hmm.
So it keeps me on my toe of everything that's going on. Great. We will see you back here on Sunday for the big episode.